The monitoring station was quiet. Almost too quiet. Captain J. Park sat in the central command chair, his fingers hovering over holographic displays that flickered with countless data streams. Outside the reinforced windows, Earth's orbital, defense platforms gleamed like silent guardians against the endless darkness of space. Lieutenant Yuna Kim stood at her communication station, her posture rigid but not tense. She had been trained for moments like these, moments where silence could mean everything or nothing. The quantum communication arrays hummed softly, their advanced sensors probing the vast emptiness beyond Earth's immediate space. Something was different today. The usual background noise of interstellar static felt altered. Jay noticed it first, a subtle shift in the electromagnetic patterns that danced across his screens. Most would have missed it, but he had spent years studying these intricate signals. His intuition, honed through decades of space service, told him something significant was about to happen. "Lieutenant," he called, his voice calm and measured, "run a diagnostic on the quantum communication network." Yuna's fingers moved swiftly across her console. Holographic representations of complex communication pathways appeared, showing intricate webs of potential data transmissions. Her eyes narrowed as she examined the readings. "Sir," she responded after a few moments, "there's an anomalous signal building up. It doesn't match any known communication protocols." Chief Engineer Sung Won, who had been quietly monitoring the system's technical infrastructure, looked up from his station. His weathered hands, marked by years of technical work, moved quickly across his own set of controls. The station's ambient temperature seemed to drop a few degrees. Everyone knew that unusual signals could mean anything from a minor technical glitch to a potential first contact scenario. Jay watched the screens, his mind racing through multiple scenarios. The Earth Defense Force had prepared for countless potential extraterrestrial encounters, but preparation was always different from actual experience. He had read countless reports, studied historical first contact scenarios, and trained for years. But nothing truly prepares you for the moment when the unknown becomes real. The quantum communication array began to pulse with an irregular rhythm. Soft blue and green light started dancing across the primary display, creating patterns that seemed almost intelligent. "Triangulate the signal origin," Jay instructed, his voice steady. Yuna's hands moved with practiced precision. Complex calculations happened in milliseconds, tracing the signal's potential source. The holographic display expanded, showing a vast section of space that seemed both empty and pregnant with potential. Sung Won's technical expertise kicked in. He began running multiple verification protocols, ensuring that what they were seeing wasn't just a system malfunction or some random space interference. Minutes passed like hours. The tension in the room was palpable but controlled. Each person knew their role. Each understood the potential significance of this moment. Suddenly, the quantum array lit up, not with a violent burst of energy, but with a measured, almost calculated, pulse. It was as if something was testing them, probing their technological capabilities. Jay leaned forward, his eyes reflecting the soft glow of the displays. This was no random signal. This was deliberate communication. "Prepare standard first contact protocol," he said quietly. "But be ready for anything." The station around them continued its measured humming. Outside, Earth continued its rotation, unaware that something extraordinary was about to unfold. Humanity stood on the precipice of a moment that would change everything, and Captain J. Park was ready. The signal continued its strange, rhythmic pulse, waiting, watching, communicating. The alien vessel appeared without warning, sliding into Earth's outer monitoring range like a ghost through mist. Its shape defied conventional understanding. Not metallic, not solid, but something that seemed to breathe and shift with each passing moment. Commander Hyun Cho watched the screen with calculated calm. His eyes, sharp and focused, tracked every minute movement of the unknown craft. Beside him, tactical specialist Yoon-ji ran rapid computational analyses, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. "Composition is unlike anything in our database," Yoon-ji murmured, her voice low and professional. The vessel didn't announce itself. It didn't send traditional communication signals. Instead, it simply existed, hanging in space like a living question mark against the dark canvas of the universe. Hyun recognized this approach. It was a psychological strategy to create uncertainty, to make the opponent hesitate. But humanity had been preparing for such encounters for decades. Their training was different. Their approach would be unexpected. They expect a military response, Hyun said quietly, more to himself than to Yoonji. We will give them something else entirely. The alien craft began to pulse, not with weapons, not with aggressive energy, but with complex light patterns that seemed almost communicative. It was studying them, analyzing their potential responses. Yoonji's systems started mapping the light frequencies. Each pulse contained massive amounts of information, not just visual data, but something more complex. Mathematical sequences, quantum-level communication attempts that went beyond traditional linguistic frameworks. They're testing our technological capacity, she reported. Her voice contained a hint of excitement beneath the professional tone. Hyun understood the game being played. This wasn't just a potential confrontation. This was a sophisticated probe, designed to measure humanity's technological and psychological readiness. The defense stations around Earth began to activate, not with weapons but with advanced sensor arrays. Quantum communication networks hummed to life, creating a complex web of potential response mechanisms. What made humanity unique wasn't raw military power. It was adaptability, strategic thinking that could transform any situation into an opportunity. The alien vessel continued its silent observation. Its surface seemed to ripple, changing texture and color in ways that defied conventional physics. It wasn't threatening. It was assessing. Yoonji's system started translating the light pulses into potential communication patterns. Mathematical sequences began forming complex languages, revealing layers of potential meaning. They're waiting for our response, Hyun observed, but not in the way traditional military protocols would suggest. His mind was already creating multiple response scenarios. Each potential action mapped out, each potential consequence analyzed and prepared for. The alien craft moved slightly, a subtle shift that suggested intelligence beyond mechanical movement. It wasn't just a ship. It was a living system, complex and adaptive. Humanity's response would define the entire potential relationship with this unknown civilization. One wrong move could mean conflict. One strategic decision could mean understanding. Yoon knew. She looked at Hyun, a slight smile crossing her professional demeanor. They both understood the unique position they were in. This wasn't just a potential first contact scenario. This was a test of human potential. Preparing non-standard communication protocols, she announced. The quantum communication networks began their complex dance. Mathematical sequences, quantum entanglement communications, subtle technological languages that went beyond traditional understanding started forming. The alien vessel pulsed in response. Not aggressively, not defensively, but with what seemed like curiosity. Humanity was about to make its first real impression on a potentially advanced civilization. And they would do it their way, with intelligence, strategy, and an approach that would challenge every conventional expectation. The encounter had begun. The research facility buzzed with an electric energy of anticipation. Research lead Dae Sung stood before massive holographic displays, his eyes reflecting complex mathematical sequences that danced like living organisms across translucent screens. Quantum communication was no longer just a theoretical concept. It had become humanity's most powerful weapon. Communications specialist Min Hee watched as intricate network patterns emerged. Each signal was a potential breakthrough, each transmission a step into unknown technological territories. The alien vessel's initial communication had provided them with unprecedented data, a technological puzzle waiting to be solved. We're not just receiving information, Dae-sung muttered. We're learning an entirely new language of technology. The facility's computers processed millions of calculations per second. Advanced algorithms translated complex quantum signals into understandable patterns. What seemed random to others was becoming a clear, structured communication system to these researchers. Humanity had always been good at adaptation. But this was different. This was evolution in real time. The quantum network began to transform. What started as a simple communication channel was rapidly becoming a sophisticated defensive and offensive system. Each alien signal was being analyzed, understood, and then reimagined through human technological creativity. Minhee's fingers moved across her console with practiced precision. She wasn't just receiving signals anymore. She was actively engaging with them, creating response mechanisms that would challenge the alien vessel's communication strategies. "The network is learning," she reported. Her voice carried a mixture of professional calm and barely contained excitement. Dae-sung nodded. The quantum communication system was becoming something more than a simple transmission method. It was developing its own form of intelligence, adapting and changing with each incoming signal. The alien vessel continued its observation. But now, it was no longer just observing. It was being observed. Complex mathematical sequences began to form unique communication pathways. These weren't just data transmissions. They were living, breathing technological organisms that could adapt, change, and respond in milliseconds. "We're creating a language they can't predict," Dae-sung explained, more to himself than to anyone else. "Every transmission is a strategic move." The research facility felt different. It wasn't just a scientific space anymore. It was the front line of a new kind of technological warfare, one fought with intelligence rather than traditional weapons. Minhee's systems began generating complex quantum entanglement communication protocols. These weren't just messages. They were intricate puzzles designed to challenge and engage the alien communication systems. The alien vessel's response was immediate, but subtle. Its communication patterns shifted, trying to adapt to humanity's unexpected approach. But humanity was always one step ahead. Dae-sung watched as the quantum network expanded. It was becoming a living system, capable of predicting and countering potential alien communication strategies. Each transmission was a strategic move in an intricate technological chess game. "We're not just communicating," he said quietly. "We're demonstrating our potential." The facility's temperature seemed to drop slightly. The air felt charged with potential, with the excitement of discovering something entirely new. Minhee's systems continued their complex dance. Quantum signals transformed, adapted, created new pathways of communication that defied traditional understanding. The alien vessel pulsed in response, but its signals were becoming more complex, more challenging. It was learning too. Humanity had just initiated a technological conversation that would change everything, not through traditional warfare, but through the most powerful weapon they possessed: intelligence. The quantum network continued its intricate dance, a living testimony to human potential. The technological evolution had begun. The Galactic Council chamber was unlike anything humans had seen before. Suspended in a massive spherical space, representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations sat in carefully arranged positions, their forms ranging from crystalline structures to gaseous entities. Ambassador Soo-jin stood at the center, her posture calm and confident. Diplomatic strategist Woo-bin stood slightly behind her, his eyes scanning the room with careful observation. Humanity was about to make its most important presentation yet. The other civilizations had watched Earth's unique response to the alien vessel with a mixture of confusion and growing respect. Humans hadn't responded with traditional military aggression. They had responded with something far more complex: intelligent adaptation. "We are not here to conquer," Soo-jin began, her voice translated through advanced communication systems. "We are here to understand." The chamber fell silent. Each representative had access to the quantum communication data, the intricate network that humanity had developed during their first encounter. It wasn't just a communication system, it was a living, breathing technological marvel. Woo-bin activated the holographic display. Complex mathematical sequences began to dance around the chamber, showing how humanity's technological approach differed from every other known civilization. What made humans unique wasn't their physical strength. It was their ability to transform challenges into opportunities. The crystalline representatives from the Luminous Collective leaned forward. Their form of communication was based on light and mathematical precision, but even they were impressed by humanity's quantum network. "Your species creates technology like living organisms," one of them commented. The translation systems hummed, with a mixture of curiosity and respect. Sujin smiled. This was diplomacy at its most sophisticated level, not about showing power but demonstrating potential. The gaseous entities from the Nebula Confederation shifted their formations. They had been studying humanity's communication methods for weeks. Each transmission revealed something new, a potential for growth that seemed almost unlimited. Wu Bin stepped forward, presenting detailed analyses of how humanity's technological approach could solve complex galactic challenges. It wasn't just about defending against threats. It was about creating collaborative solutions. The chamber began to change. What started as a potentially tense diplomatic meeting was transforming into something else entirely. The alien representatives were no longer just observing. They were becoming interested. "We propose a collaborative technological exchange," Sujin announced. Her words carried weight, backed by the intricate quantum communication networks they had developed. The Galactic Council representatives began to communicate among themselves, not through traditional diplomatic channels, but through the very quantum communication systems humanity had demonstrated. Humanity wasn't just presenting a technological solution. They were offering a new way of thinking. Wu Bin's strategic mind was already mapping potential collaboration paths. Each alien civilization had unique technological strengths. By creating a network of shared intelligence, they could address challenges that seemed impossible before. The chamber's atmosphere changed. What had begun as a potentially confrontational meeting was becoming a moment of unprecedented potential. "Your approach is unexpected," a representative from the Stellar Consortium observed. The translation carried a mixture of respect and genuine curiosity. Sujin understood the significance of this moment. This wasn't just a diplomatic meeting. This was humanity's introduction to a larger galactic community. The quantum communication networks continued their complex dance, bridging gaps between civilizations that had existed for millennia. Humanity had done something remarkable. They had turned a potential conflict into an opportunity for collaboration. The Galactic Council was about to change forever. Captain J. Park stood on the bridge of the Quantum Horizon, humanity's most advanced strategic vessel. Beside him, Admiral Kyung-hwa monitored the complex holographic displays that showed the approaching threat. The Void Swarm. Millions of alien vessels moved like a living darkness. They had consumed entire star systems, destroyed civilizations that had existed for thousands of years. But today would be different. Humanity was no longer alone. The multi-species fleet surrounded the Quantum Horizon. Crystalline ships from the Luminous Collective, gaseous battle formations from the Nebula Confederation, and dozens of other alien civilizations stood united, all connected through the quantum communication network humanity had developed. "Initiate, final protocol," J. Park commanded. The network came alive. It wasn't just a communication system anymore. It was a living, thinking entity that could predict, adapt, and respond faster than any traditional military strategy. Each ship became a node in a massive, intelligent system, not just connected, but thinking together, sharing information, predicting movements, creating strategies that the Void Swarm could never understand. The Void Swarm approached. Massive, overwhelming, seemingly unstoppable. But they had never faced humanity's approach before. Admiral Kyung-hwa's fingers moved across her control panel. Quantum entanglement communication channels began their complex dance. Mathematical sequences transformed into strategic movements, each ship moving with a precision that seemed almost supernatural. "They're trying to understand our pattern," she said quietly. J. Park smiled. That was exactly what they wanted. The first wave of void swarm vessels attacked, but instead of direct confrontation, the multi-species fleet seemed to dissolve, not retreat, not defend, but transform. Each ship became multiple potential targets: holographic duplications, quantum-shifted positions, communication signals that created impossible tactical scenarios. The void swarm's attack passed through empty space. Humanity's strategy was beautiful in its complexity. They weren't fighting. They were solving a living, moving mathematical problem. Quantum communication networks predicted every potential void swarm movement milliseconds before it happened. Each alien vessel received updated strategic information, faster than the enemy could process. "We are not destroying," J. Park said to himself. "We are solving." The battle wasn't about weapons. It was about intelligence, about understanding, about transformation. Alien civilizations watched in amazement. Humanity had done something unprecedented. They had turned warfare into a collaborative problem-solving exercise. The void swarm's massive formations began to break, not through direct destruction, but through total strategic confusion. Hour after hour, the quantum network continued its complex dance. Predictive algorithms, shared intelligence, strategic adaptations happening faster than thought. Admiral Kyung-hwa's systems showed the progressive breakdown of the void swarm's strategic capabilities. They were being mathematically dismantled, not destroyed. "Final convergence protocol," J. Park commanded. The entire multi-species fleet moved as a single intelligent organism, connected, thinking, adapting. The void swarm's last remaining vessels suddenly found themselves surrounded, not by weapons but by an impossible network of strategic potential. And then, silence. The threat was neutralized, not through violence, but through understanding. Humanity had introduced a new concept to galactic conflict resolution, not destruction, but collaborative problem-solving. The quantum communication network pulsed one final time, a message of hope, of potential, of a new way of thinking. The universe would never be the same.